Thank you, everyone, and welcome to our latest Lemongrass Live. I'll get to our panel in a little bit, but just to give everyone the context, the purpose of this Lemongrass Live is to discuss the ever-growing and challenging, exciting topic of data analytics and AI. Is it a big challenge, or is it a big answer, or somewhat a combination of both for customers? So to outline the session, hyperscaler cloud has really created a significant opportunity to break down silos and enable integration across data and other sources, embracing cloud and SAP analytics and forming the foundation of digital transformation initiatives, finding efficiencies in the organization's new revenue streams. These are all things that organizations are looking for. Analyst groups are agreeing that we should be leveraging data to make more strategic and more data-driven decisions, but that also is layered by the fact that technology is moving at a rapid pace. So we see AI, GenAI, cloud-based services all being added to next generation ERPs like S4 and RISE. But how do you take control of that data strategy and turn that into something that really enables the business rather than a big data tsunami? So today I'm lucky to be joined by people a lot smarter than I. So I've got Mayank Madan, who heads up our data and analytics and AI business globally. So thanks and welcome, Mayank. And also on the line, I've got Mike Lannon, who's one of our senior architects in the APAC business. So we've got an international panel today. So Mike in Sydney, myself in the Philippines, and Mayank in Brussels today. But thanks again. And over the next 30 minutes, we'll try and touch on a number of topical things that we're seeing across our customers. There is the opportunity in the questions box to ask questions as we go along. We will try and get through the main topics and then take some questions towards the end. We are recording the session, so you can listen to it at your own leisure. But let's jump into the session. So let's start with the big picture question, I guess. Cloud has fundamentally changed. So analytics and data challenges have been around for a long time, but cloud has fundamentally changed that. How are we seeing the revolution of cloud changing every business's approach to data and analytics and beyond? Perhaps I'll start with you, Mayank. What are you seeing?
Great. First of all, thanks, Jason. I think really excited to be here, and I am really, traveling across the globe, meeting our customers and partners to answer this big question around how cloud is revolutionizing the businesses. First of all, I think all of the organizations in this digital world want to become what we call data-driven and AI-enabled organizations. And so as to be able to get that, so as to be able to get to a level where they can make decisions faster in real time, have accessibility to all of the business data and non-business data, ability to innovate faster, to leverage the fast ecosystem changes happening. Cloud has given that option to scale in a flexible manner and in an agile manner to adopt to those new challenges coming in and revolutionize in terms of innovation, in terms of building the new data architecture which support the use cases and applications required in this digital world. So I'm seeing a huge adoption, a lot of customers moving from legacy platforms into new data architecture, which can only be built on cloud. And that has really helped customers get that scale. We are working with customers, some customers which have got huge data, migrating to a cloud, and they have just started their journey, and they are seeing the huge potential in terms of scaling and winning more customers, able to onboard more customers and become that data-driven and AI-enabled organization.
Sure. So what's your views?
Mike, in your role as well, I think you are seeing similar. What's your view?
Yeah, no, exactly. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Mike here. So I was just thinking, whilst Mike also was talking, what was my first data and analytics experience? And I had to go back in the years, and it will show my age, but that was actually DBase 3. So there you go. Put that on your Scrabble board. Yeah, no, cloud has changed everything, right? So I think the speed of innovation and breaking down the silos is awesome, right? But it also creates the complexity for a lot of customers on choices they have to make, right? So, and without having a decent strategy, you can create another spaghetti kind of infrastructure or architecture, and that's the main pitfall nowadays with all the different options, even cloud native. And we haven't even discussed the SaaS products, because when you talk about cloud, what's the definition of a data lake on cloud, right? Some customers think, oh, if I use third-party software as Databricks or Snowflake and the likes, that's I'm on cloud. But is that true cloud, or is that just just more question back to you then, Maya. How do you see the different players in the field between the third-party vendors and cloud-native solutions?
So I think that's a good point, right? And ultimate aim, again, if I fall back to my earlier point of being data driven and AI enabled organization, that requires to build that lake house architecture, or an architecture where you can combine business data and non-business data together. And when you think from that perspective, the application and use cases you have, you need to be able to, I call it as a hybrid, architecture, create that hybrid architecture alongside. So having your SAP ecosystem, and then, aligning with the cloud data platforms. And then rather than providing a solution, think from the problem point of view, what you're trying to solve, and what is the right kind of architecture you require, what are the right data sources you require, so you can build that application in a cost effective manner. So I'm seeing more and more customers and partners I talk to, 95% of the time they have that hybrid architecture, right? Wherein the Snowflake and Databricks and cloud native data platform are part of their key digital data strategy as a data platform, alongside their business platforms like BW and S4HANA. And then they are focusing on, okay, what I'm trying to solve and how can I solve it in a cost effective manner, and then leveraging that hybrid architecture with overarching data governance or data fabric, we call, is more prominent.
Yeah, absolutely. Any points from you, Jason, on this, or?
Yeah, look, I think undoubtedly clouds transform the data landscape. So the ability not only to democratize data, but be able to spin things up, spin things down, use cheaper storage than traditional sources. We haven't got the lead times of buying hardware anymore, but then you overlay the fact that there's new powerful analytic tools and particularly the AI capabilities to be able to, I guess, give those analytical components to the users themselves, so they can ask English-based questions and still have the power and scale underneath that. So the flexibility of the architecture is great. The cloud organizations allow us to experiment. So therefore we can spin up new data initiatives and bring them and the results of those to market faster. I think the barrier to entry has started to go away, and people are certainly embracing what that means for more advanced analytics, and certainly the advent of AI and GenAI is making, I guess, the whole thing more affordable, more accessible for businesses, so that they can leverage these technologies. The barrier to entry certainly means that small, medium, and large organizations can start to take advantage of this for their own competitive advantage, whether it's streamlining the business or increasing or finding new revenue streams. So for me, I think cloud offers an immense potential as far as the fundamental building blocks, particularly even when modernizing legacy systems or integrating external data, its efficiency in storing big data at scale and making it readily available. but how do you overcome some of these challenges about modernizing legacy systems or integrating data sources, even controlling data at scale, Mike?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And look, I think a lot of customers I talk to, they're a bit struggling as well, right? So most of them, they still have like legacy BW systems, and some of them might have upgraded it to BW on HANA, BW for HANA, so they've got more in-memory and real-time reporting capabilities. But SAP is, sorry to say that they do make it easy for customers as well, what products they need to use. So some customers have adopted to a cloud native little bit or third-party product. So it is getting like a spaghetti already with a lot of customers. And is it time now for customers to take a step back, reset, and come up with a proper data and analytics AI strategy and start like greenfield as clean core, but then clean data kind of approach? Mayank?
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike, and most of the organization have got some kind of, I would say, data strategy, but considering the ecosystem changes happening, move to RISE, the legacy system, if you see the history, every decade, brings in technology innovation and demands to improve on the existing architecture. There was traditional data warehouses, BW kind of, architectures prominent. Then came in big data, where we wanted to adopt it to new sources and build innovation from there, new applications and use cases. And now we are in AI and GenAI world and cloud world, which gives immense potential. But the key challenge still lies, customers have built those warehouses over multiple decades, right? How do you modernize that? What is the right approach to go to what you call it a future state architecture? And you cannot just go and press a button and it will be done. Whether you need to move, for example, from BW to DataSphere, or move from Hadoop to Databricks, or move from Teradata old data warehouses to Snowflake or Redshift or Snaps or BigQuery. It all depends on the challenges you have with respect to cost. How much is the cost of your current legacy systems? Are you able to provide faster insights to your business users? And are you missing on innovation? And all these challenges are valid, because customers are not able to innovate at a pace required on their legacy systems, and that gives them a clear business case to modernize. But then question comes in, what is my future state architecture? And there you need to follow a very methodological approach, and we have been working with customers to leverage our methodology of cloud migration we built over years to adopt to that. Think through, let's do a pilot, let's evaluate whether it's suitable DataSphere target architecture or a hybrid architecture we should leverage here to build my future state architecture. And then do an assessment. Assessment is very important, not only to get the detailed inventory of the legacy data platform, but also to know that how we will be and what is the technical debt we are carrying. Do we really want to carry forward the technical debt to modern future architecture? And then build through architecture design, execute, do a parallel run, do a cutover. It's a process, okay, and it takes sometimes multi-year transformation journey to get there. But that would be really something we are advising customer and working with customer to build up that business case and go on this journey together. I think that would be something we will see more and more in upcoming years as the ecosystem changes are happening.
Yeah, so what basically what you're saying, Mayank, is then you think big, right? Like the old principle, think big, but start small and just do little pilots to get where you want to be.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. Pilot and assessment of your data landscape is key. That gives you an ability to think through, okay, that is, I think, future state architecture could be, and also an assessment gives you a detailed landscape. Customers do not know, frankly, what exists in their legacy systems, and they get surprised sometimes. Oh, this is the licensing cost, this is my overall TCO. I didn't know that I have 40% of the objects I'm not using, and it's the technical data I'm carrying.
Yeah. So I think, Jason, you also mentioned a little while ago, and Mayank as well, AI. We have to mention it even in this webinar, right? So AI is everywhere. Is AI like, how do customers will solve the AI question, right? Because every software vendor has some sort of format tool solution on AI. Again, customers I talk to, they're super confused. Some customers say, oh, well, we every vendor AI solution we're gonna embrace. But how are you gonna manage that as well then, right? Do you just create one AI to rule them all kind of scenario? Is that the future, or how do you see that happening? Is that first question, sorry, is it a good idea to have multiple AI strategies to solve your business requirements?
Well, look, from my perspective, AI, there's no doubt, even in our own business as Lemongrass, can sort of revolutionize the way that we analyze our own data, the way that we support our customers across all of the services that we provide. And importantly, it allows us to identify patterns in our business, make better decisions. So certainly that data-driven decision making has really improved us as a business, and therefore how we serve our own customers. But Mayank, what are you seeing with helping customers with their AI strategy?
Yeah, and to extend on that, what just Jason said is, AI is a broad term, right? Again, I go back to my fundamental question: what problem you are trying to solve, right?
Yes.
And if you always think through that, then you attack business problems, operational challenges, and then start leveraging what is the right way to do it. Whether I should be building a custom machine learning model for, let's say, for demand forecast, because that is one of the big challenge. I'm not winning more. How can I leverage my previous sales data, combine that with consumer behaviors, weather data, event, season data, and then improve on my demand forecast so I can sell more. I can upsell and cross sell to my existing customer is a classic example of where I could use machine learning, for example. But for providing customer service, for operational improvements, we are seeing that customers have built generative AI chatbots now, which combines their unstructured data and structured data to be able to answer questions for the processes. They are automating workflows in their business processes. So it's really driven by what challenge you are facing and how can you have that value use cases. So it is very, very important as part of your AI strategy to think this through from a value perspective. Ultimately, how you can generate revenue, save costs, increase operational efficiency. Classic fundamentals of business remains. And if you think from that perspective and implement your AI strategy across the organization and expand it, I think that would be something I'm seeing customers are doing, and they are forming data governance councils and AI governance council to go over and think through from value point of view, but also from governance and ethical point of view, how we kind of embed this in the organization.
Yeah, and do you see that like a stepping stone strategy as well? So to me, but just personally, your data and quality needs to be good before you can use GenAI on top of it, right? So because
that is given, right? And that is one of the thing, sometimes people forget that, okay, ultimately whatever you are building on top and analyzing, it comes from data. If you do not have quality data, if you do not have right architecture to combine data sets together, then you will not be able to achieve what you are trying to achieve with AI. So that's a fundamental question on how do we build that modern data platform stack so as to be able to leverage these innovative tools and technologies and AI on top of that to answer your questions, right? So that is something, a base, and when we talk to our customers and partners, we always stress on that: have a data strategy defined, have that modern data platform journey defined in terms of security, governance, quality, automation, and then build on top of those the insightful use cases.
And I guess that has to evolve as well, Mayank, doesn't it? Obviously, these technologies are changing very quickly, so have a good solid foundation for your data, understand your data sources, be able to structure it in a particular way, govern it, as you said, with what we're seeing around data governance, centers of excellence, etc. But then try out the tools, because they're many and varied as far as being able to use AI, ML scenarios. But ultimately, the choice around those comes back to the question that you want to ask of the data as that evolves as a business.
Exactly. And it is, as I said, it's always a journey to modernize, from legacy to something, what is my future state look like, and it needs to be driven by within the boundaries of enterprise security governance, and then move to that data platform, and sometimes it's a value driven approach. Customer think this through from a use case point of view. Let me work on this business use case first, which requires these data, and then start evolving from there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And where do you see the cost? Because you talk to a lot of customers, Mayank, global ones, but where are most customers now stuck in this whole concept?
Yeah. So I think the first and fundamental challenge is, for any modernization journey is it justifiable from a business case point of view, and what does that look like? I do not know what is my future state. I have not evaluated. So these are some classic challenge questions customers have, right? And with able to get an answer out of it, it requires you to start pilot. So customers have started doing pilot on, for example, DataSphere, if it is from BW to DataSphere migration, or a BW to hybrid architecture. Alongside DataSphere, you have cloud data platform. And if it is about other data warehouse migration, Hadoop to let's say Databricks, right? So having that pilot done, is the first step to evaluate what is my the right architecture I'm looking forward to, and doing an assessment. Okay, so we have started doing assessment for customers as part of RISE advisory as well. What is the best approach to go and build that future state architecture? But that requires to understand your current data landscape in detail, and what are you doing with that data? How are you currently combining your business data from SAP and non-business data, and what are the challenges you have, so as to be able to define and guide through, okay, in context of RISE, in context of your future state, what does that architecture could look like? Okay, so that's a stepping stone towards next phase of detail assessment and building that roadmap, providing a business case or a rough order of magnitude cost for your business case, and then start the journey from there. So that's, I think, two fundamental steps towards going to next, and that is where we see a lot of customers, 90% of customers are, and we have started engaging with them on these two phases.
Okay. I'm just conscious of time. We've got a couple of questions that have come through from people on the line. Yeah, thank you for joining us for this session. So I'm not sure who will take the question first, but obviously data has become more valuable. We touched a little bit on data governance, but obviously security is paramount. How are we seeing businesses protect their data and ensure, I guess, ethical usage of that data?
Yeah, I can. My take is, if I can go first, Mayank, is encryption, right? So we need to protect the data, because the data is vulnerable. So a lot of hackers want to have access to the data. So we need to protect the data in the cloud. So encryption, access controls, letting the right end users access that data. And we try to leverage by the cloud native security measurements and the frameworks, the industry frameworks to adhere. Yeah, that's how I see it. Mayank?
Yeah, and right, Mike. And in addition, right, what we are seeing is, depending on the geography, right? So what are the compliance rules? For example, GDPR, compliance
Yes.
is very, very important. Privacy is very important in terms of sharing data between geographies and how you kind of build those tagging, geotagging, and sharing of data between countries are more prominent in some industries than others. GDPR is applicable across the board, which is very, very important from compliance, and likewise CCPA. Okay, so how do we ensure that we handle it responsibly and share it responsibly is also, I would add, and customers are implementing or have already implemented it in the existing systems, and now they are ensuring that that gets implemented as they move to modern data stack on cloud.
Thanks. The next one we've got is, so leveraging these technologies, how do we see, or what's our experience in making that data more accessible to everyone in the organization? So we talk about this data-driven culture, but what are the things that organizations need to be doing to sort of put the data in the hands of the people that need it the most?
I don't know, Mike, you want to talk about it? I can give my view.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's a good question. I think, no, you go first. I need another thing. So, sorry, Mayank.
Okay, I think with more access and more information comes more responsibility as well, right? Frankly, my point is, yes, data-driven organization requires giving that self-service analytics capability, but within the boundaries of how you kind of put guardrails towards it. So you need to have a clear strategy defined in terms of classifying your data, what data you are talking about here, what is confidential data, what is sensitive data, what is the data, and what business groups and users, what are the access controls policies there. And if you have defined those, okay, that gives tremendous power to your business community to take actions, to get to that insights faster. So building that again depends on the fundamental principles and policies if you have already built upon, and then create that on the modern data stack. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because we have a mix of customers as well, right? So some customers are a little bit more agile than the larger enterprises. So, but it needs to come from the top, and the users needs to be empowered to use the right tools with the right frameworks to access the data.
Yeah.
And we'll take one more question before we wrap up. So, what are we seeing AI and machine learning, or how are customers leveraging it for improved decision making, and particularly to drive innovation around SAP environments? What are you seeing in that space, Mayank?
I think it is getting, I would say the pace has increased, right, of AI adoption, and there are value use cases coming in terms of actually building something related to business processes specific to, for example, finance or order to cash, and how can improve let's say invoicing, reconciliation, how can I do demand forecast better in terms of accuracy, and generate more revenue. But on the other side, providing customer services, how can I build chatbots leveraging generative AI, for example, or virtual assistants to be able to serve my customer better. Okay, as a whole, I see that focus has increased over time in last couple of years after GenAI has become more prominent, but it is a mix of machine learning and generative AI capabilities is being built up to be data-driven AI-enabled organization. At the same time, thinking through of getting the value from it, right? So what are my value use cases?
That's great.
Okay, thank you. And if we were to give, just wrapping up, thank you. It's been very good to chat to you both over the last 30 minutes. If you were to give, I guess, the audience one takeaway, what would it be? Probably starting with you, Mayank.
I would say that focus on core, building a modern data platform, align your data strategy, and think from a value point of view, what problem you are trying to solve. I think that it gives a steer to what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Mike?
I think empower your employees with the data access, right? I think the co-pilots, they are popping up as mushrooms everywhere, but it's such a great tool to use in your organization, and it will reduce time to get the right answer. So just empower your employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, from my perspective,
and frameworks. Sorry, yeah.
Of course. And look, from my perspective, there are organisations like Lemongrass that are running these strategies and have put these models in place for organisations. So certainly reach out for help. I think trying things out has been around for a long time, certainly in the data analytics and now emerging AI space. That hasn't changed. What cloud has changed is our ability to be able to fail fast and learn things and try things out. So I think embrace the new technologies, try them out. We are in our own organisation, and you learn a lot. To Mayank's point about working backwards from the questions that you're trying to ask, sometimes you don't know the questions until you and try these things out and start integrating data together. But thank you both for your insight over the session. For those that we didn't get the questions to, please, we'll either answer your questions on email. Please reach out to us. Our next Lemongrass live session will probably run on the other side of Christmas now as we start to close out the year. But please look for more information on our website, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.